come through that little town of Wilton, I believe it was, and about 4 miles, 3 or 4 miles out of town, I made a left at a stop sign, started coming down towards 61 highway, and we was all riding in formation, you know, staggered formation. I just remember looking straight ahead, and all of a sudden I see this car swerve off the right shoulder on their side on a 2-lane road, off her side, and a little bit of gravel came up, and it just shot that car straight across the median, right on top of me. A matter of seconds, just like bam. Hit the brakes. I was just like hit the brakes, get as far over to the right side as I possibly can, and see if I was trying to avoid it. You know, trying to get away as far as I could. I couldn't go over no further because I knew if I hit the gravel, I'd lost it anyway. So, and then next thing I know, you know, I'm trying to walk around, but of course my leg was gone. And friends of mine was trying to hold me down, keep me from moving and everything, and Barb too. And I could hear Barb off in the distance hollering, you know, for me. You know, I was just telling my buddies, man, you know, I'm gonna die. Tell everybody, you know, pretty much that I love them, you know, and all that kind of stuff, because I knew I was gonna die. It just felt like it was. I remember hearing a helicopter. I don't remember being loaded in a helicopter, but I remember transferred off one gurney into another one, and then I don't remember nothing for 2 weeks after that. I was in a coma all the time. Well, I definitely consider myself a victim, but I don't consider myself really handicapped. I feel like I'm challenged sometimes, physically challenged. But who ain't really physically challenged in their life at one point or another? How about these guys who want to go out here and learn how to drive a truck? They got a challenge ahead of them. How about anybody who wants to learn how to ride a bike? They got a challenge ahead of them. You got to go to school. You got to learn something. There's always a challenge for everybody at one point or another. So this is just another challenge. It's another step in my life I got to deal with. I had no concept really until he started actually building it. And then when he started doing the plaster repairs or whatever that stuff is, it sets up real quick. I was thinking, man, that's kind of cool the way they do that. That's what was going through my mind. That's pretty neat, you know, how they fix people up and get them walking again like that. And then the workshop was right there in the office behind the building, right there in that same building. And they'd make parts of it and bring it out and show it to me. I just thought it was all pretty fascinating how they, all these little parts that they got to put together to make your leg work where you can be able to walk. You know, I thought that's pretty cool. Man, I'll tell you what, I've been overwhelmed so many times with all the traveling back and forth to Iowa City to see them doctors, go over here and do my therapy every 2 or 3 days a week, and then make sure I got all my medications and my necessary stuff in the house. Oh, there's always something. I was overwhelmed many a times. I just didn't want to do nothing. You know, I'd be dragged, I'd be wore out. It took a lot of effort for me to get up. If I didn't have somebody at the beginning driving me, you know, a lot of times I'd do the driving, but they had to still ride with me so they could push me around in my wheelchair, you know, because I didn't have my leg at the time. And last time I went to see my doctor was my release day. And I said, I'm walking in here that day. So I did. I didn't take nobody with me to Iowa City. I went by myself, and I got my crutches out, and I walked myself to the doctor in Iowa City Hospital. Walked in and walked out.
would somehow realize, what she had caused? Like, have your thoughts or feelings towards her changed at all since then?
Not really. Not really. I know that she's gonna have to live with this the rest of her life too, knowing that she killed somebody. I can understand her feelings, but she's ruined a whole lot more lives than just hers. But no, my feelings ain't really changed that much for her.
You said she killed somebody in a crash. What's it been like without Barb?
Probably the hardest thing I did. It's the hardest thing I ever had to go through, without my wife, after being with her 27 years. But I got people helping me along, so that ain't never gonna go away. I've been everywhere in the United States. I've been to Canada. I took my wife to Canada and Mexico. I've done more things in my lifetime that most people will never see. So if I would have died that day, I'd have been just fine with me. So it's like I'm all good with what happened. I mean, I'll make it work, and I'll be back out trucking again next year. If a car can hit me and knock me off my bike and mess me up as bad as it did, and I still get back up on 2 feet sooner or later, and I can still get around, and the girls still think I'm pretty, I'm doing fine. Well, it won't be exactly the same because I'll probably trip over a lot more stuff.